The first pick was Cam Ward, who hasn't looked very good so far, even though he doesn't have much to work with his leading receiver being Chigo Okonkwo, and the tight ends are just a complete dumpster fire. That being said, Ward has been a part of the problem and has only thrown 7 touchdowns through 11 games with 6 interceptions. He also takes a lot of sacks and is last in pressure to sack ratio among all QBs. I'm going to give this pick a D. Unfortunately, Travis Hunter's season is over due to injury, but when he played, he was underwhelming. As a receiver, he only had 2 games over 50 yards and 1 touchdown in the season. Defensively, he was solid, allowing a 50% completion percentage with a 68.3 passer rating against. I'm going to give this pick a C minus because durability wise, it might be hard to play both sides, and if he can't, then taking him second overall looks like a reach since he struggled early as a receiver. Abdul Carter has been very underwhelming on the stat sheet with only half a sack and 1 tackle for loss. On the bright side, he has 26 QB hurries, 11 QB hits, and 38 pressures, so those numbers make me feel better, but the lack of production is definitely a concern, so I'm going with a C+. Will Campbell's looked solid for the Patriots, but he's given up 5 sacks, taken 7 penalties, allowed 4 QB hits, and 25 pressures, which isn't very good but usually normal among rookie tackles. But overall, he's been solid and has been around the average in the run game. I'll give this pick a B minus. Mason Graham has quietly been very good for the Browns and been very good against the run. He's been decent in the pass rush too, generating 25 pressures, 21 hurries, 3 QB hits, and 1 sack, and overall been a big boost for the defense and the big reason they bounced back this year. So I'll give this pick a B+. Normally when running backs are drafted this high, they're elite right away, but we haven't seen that from Ashton Jenney yet. He's only averaging 3.6 yards per carry and the production just hasn't been there. He has only had 2 games where he averaged above 4 yards per carry, but the Raiders have been horrible, especially the offensive line, so he's not given much to work with. One positive is he's fifth in forced missed tackles with 40, but I'm going to give this pick a C because the expected production has not been there. Armand Membu has looked very good so far and hasn't looked like a rookie too much and been one of the few bright spots for the Jets, being the tackle of the future in New York. He'll earn the highest grade so far given out, which will be an A. At 8 is another hit in Ted McMillan, who has been the wide receiver one for the Panthers that they've been looking for. He's top 20 in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns, and leads all rookies in receiving yards. This pick is an A minus. Kelvin Banks has looked solid for the Saints so far. He's allowed a lot of pressures, but kept pass rushers away from sacking the quarterback, only allowing 3 so far. The pass rush could use some work, but the run blocking has been pretty good so far. Overall, I think has been a decent pick, so I'll give it a B. The Bears threw everyone off taking Colston Loveland 10th overall, which was a confusing pick at the time. It looked pretty bad to start out the season with him being non-existent in the pass game for the first half of the season, but he had a huge game against the Bengals and has been more involved since. He has one of the highest yards per reception among tight ends and has done a good job of working through the middle of the field. I'm going to give this pick a C+. Mykel Williams is out for the year due to a torn ACL, but was unproductive when on the field, with only 1 sack and 4 tackles for loss. He was drafted as more of a project and developmental guy because of his physical traits, but wasn't fully developed yet, and was decent in the pass rush with 19 pressures. I'm going to give this pick a C minus. This was a confusing pick on draft night and hasn't really paid off for the Dolphins. The Dolphins' run defense is still terrible, and Grant has looked unimpressive and is graded as one of the worst defensive tackles in the NFL according to PFF, so I'll give this pick a D. Tyler Warren has already established himself as one of the top tight ends in the league, being 5th in catches and 3rd in receiving yards among all tight ends, and he has been a big part of how the Colts' offense has been so good. He's 3rd in yards after the catch among tight ends, and has been everything the Colts were looking for, so this is the first A+ of the video. The Falcons went from second to last in the league in sacks to top 3 this season, and Jalen Walker has been the pass rushing spark that they've been hoping for. He has 5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles through 10 games, and overall he's been solid, so I'll give him a B+. Walter Nolan has only played 4 games this year, but has been good when he's been on the field. In his first game, he recorded a sack, pass deflection, and 2 tackles for loss. He's only played 101 snaps, so it looked good when on the field, so I'll give him a B minus just because we haven't seen that much of him. Shamar Stewart only had 4.5 sacks through 3 college football seasons and was drafted for his talent and tools, but this has been the worst pick of the draft so far, earning the first F. He's hurt right now and only played 5 games, but hasn't done anything in those games. MPFF had him graded as the worst edge rusher in football. Gray Zabel has been okay in the pass blocking, not allowing a sack and only allowing 15 pressures, but hasn't been very good in the run blocking game. I'm going to give him a C+, but he definitely has shown some flashes. Emeka Ibuka is looking like a steal so far with 52 catches for 791 yards and 6 touchdowns, looking like he'll have an 1,000-yard receiving season. He's been a little quiet the past few games and had drop problems, but he has still been very good and is 13th in yards per reception and 14th in yards after catch. This pick gets an A. Jody Barron hasn't seen the field that much his rookie year, and has pretty much been the fourth corner on the team with Denver not rushing his development. He's been okay in coverage when on the field. I'm giving this pick a C. Derek Harmon has been more of a rotational D tackle for the Steelers and hasn't recorded a sack, tackle for loss, or QB hit the last 6 weeks of the season. He was drafted more to stop the run, which the Steelers have improved against, and when he missed last week, the Steelers gave up the most rushing yards ever in Acrisure Stadium to an opponent, so I'll give this pick a C+. O'Marion Hampton is finally returning to the field after being injured and only played 5 games, and he was pretty good in those games. From scrimmage, he had 450 yards and 2 touchdowns, and was averaging 4.8 yards per carry, and was involved in the receiving game, averaging 4 catches per game. I'm going to give him a B+, because he looks like the Chargers running back one of the future, but just hasn't played that much, so I can't give him anything better. The Packers have so many receivers they need to get the ball to, even though they still don't have a true wide receiver 1, but like 6 wide receiver 2s and 3s. So Golden hasn't seen the field a ton, or got that many targets, and he's also missed a few games. Because of the lack of production, I'm giving him a C-, even though I still have faith in him going forward. Overall, Donovan Jackson has been pretty solid. He's taken 3 penalties, allowed 2 sacks, 2 QB hits, and 17 pressures, which are solid numbers, and has been one of the better pass blocking guards, and has been okay in the run game. I'm going to give him a B-. Jackson Dart has really surprised me so far this season, and could potentially be the franchise guy. He's easily been the best rookie QB so far, and he's doing that with not much to work with, especially with Neighbors out for this season, but he has still been good, and is very mobile and a good runner. I'm going to give him an A-. James Pierce has boosted the Falcons' pass rush along with fellow rookie Jalen Walker, going from 31st in sacks to 3rd. Pierce has 5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 10 QB hits, and 1 forced fumble. He hasn't been good against the run, but the pass rush has been there, so I'll give him a B. And I'm not going to knock him for what the Falcons gave up to get him. Malachi Starks started out the season rough, along with the rest of the Ravens defense getting cooked in coverage and missing tackles, but has looked a lot better the past few weeks, and is playing better along with the rest of the Ravens defense. I'm going to give this pick a B. Tyleik Williams hasn't seen the field a ton, being behind Reeder and McNeil, and has been solid against the run, even though he probably won't have much of an impact in the pass rush, having 0 sacks but 15 pressures and 14 QB hurries, which aren't bad. I'm going to give him a C+. Josh Conerly has been off to a rough start, taking 11 penalties and allowing 6 sacks and 33 pressures, really struggling in pass blocking. He has been alright against the run, but I'm going to give him a D+. Maxwell Hairston missed the first 7 weeks of the season due to injury and been eased in similar to Barron, with Benford, Trey White, and Taron Johnson getting more snaps. He's allowed 6 catches with a passer rating of 71 against, but allowed 15.8 yards per reception with it, which isn't good. I'm going to give him a C+ for now. Jahad Campbell has been really good for Philly, but he's got less playing time after Nakobe Dean came back, and even played 0 snaps in last week's game against the Bears. I'm going to give him an A minus because he's been incredible when he's been on the field. Josh Simmons has been good for the Chiefs. He struggled with penalties and run blocking, but he's been a good pass blocker, only allowing 2 sacks, 2 QB hits, and 18 pressures, which are all top 25 among tackles. Simmons gets a B.